Welcome to the Chris Hanna Show.
To stay ahead of the competition and stay relevant, it's more important now than ever that we continually reinvent ourselves. Now, we can only do this, of course, by being deliberate and intentional. Who do we ultimately want to become? When we know the answer to that question, we need to take the steps that are required to reinvent ourselves. Now, I've often said that you get what you continue to allow. Like if you're unhappy and disappointed in some aspect of your life, you have the power to take steps to change it. Ultimately, you want to be grateful for what happened in the past, good or bad. Appreciate the past, learn from it, and be better for it. With these past couple of years, it's either been a challenge or an opportunity. Whatever has happened before has already happened. You can't change anything. All you can do is move forward. So in this week's episode of the Chris Hanna Show, I'm talking about what happens when you do move forward. Because ultimately, if you want to have a certain level of impact, you need to create momentum. I'm going to give you the path forward to generate that momentum. Now, there's a requirement that you're going to have to first have a learning mindset. It's always going to, of course, serve you best. You don't want to stop learning, growing, and evolving your approach, because success really, truly is a state of mind. But how you think of yourself with having the right mindset makes a world of difference for yourself. You got to be present. Again, sometimes we hang on to the baggage of the past and worry about the anxiety of the future way too often. The future will come, but the past has already happened. So be present in the moment and appreciate what you have now. And remember, it's not about being the best, it's about being better today than you were yesterday. It's progress over perfection. If you're going to win, you got to be confident. And you got to ultimately operate with your zone of strength and go all in on the things that you're best doing. We're getting close to the end of the year here, and it's time to reflect on the progress that's been made this past year. And we get ready for what's coming next and really develop that roadmap to make sure you're successful in the year ahead. But the truth is that most people are not going to succeed. They're not going to succeed because they're not able to generate the results they need or the momentum that they're looking for. And the only way you can achieve results is becoming obsessed with taking action. We all know that many people talk a big game, they get excited, but they don't take action. The same applies in business. Most businesses do not succeed. If you look at many companies today in the first year, 50% of them are all gone. When you push that out 5 years from now, about 80% of them are not going to exist. And in 10 years, 96% of businesses ultimately fail. Only 4% of businesses make it. With that in mind, like those results, that momentum that people want to create ultimately isn't there. Yes, there's challenges, but like how do you as a business owner, as a leader, as a personal brand for yourself, how do you actually make sure you stand out? Obviously, it's important to make sure that you're focused on having the right mindset, but you also have to take action. One of my favorite movies growing up was Back to the Future. In that movie, there's this quote that's said throughout, and it says that if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. I firmly believe that that is possible, but obviously you need to also put in the work to get it done. You just can't say it and then believe it, and that's all that happens. You have to actually put in the work. And to put in the work, you got to make sure you're leveraging a really powerful tool, which I again call the tool of momentum. It's probably one of the most essential tools that's often forgotten. It's so simple. But honestly, in my opinion, it's the difference between success and failure. It's certainly the difference between sustained success, that repeatable success that you need to see over and over again, and failure. A lot of people will start out doing something for a little while and then they stop and they fail. Again, sustained success is what you're after. If that's what you want for your own life, then that's what you need to remember. In order to take action and make an impact, you need to create momentum. So I'm going to break it down for you, and it's really simple. Because there's a formula for creating momentum. You might want to pause for a second. If you don't already have it, grab a piece of paper or put it on your computer. You're going to want to write this down. The reason I ask you to write this down is like when you take notes, instead of just, listening and absorbing everything, it actually makes you learn better. Because if you listen passively, just, hearing me talk, you're only going to really pick up about 10% of what I've said over the next 30 days. That's all you're going to really retain. If you listen, take notes, review maybe those notes, you might retain about 50%. But if you're really engaged with me, you're listening, you're taking notes, you're active, you're really going all in on this and you really believe it, you're going to retain about 80 to 90% a month later, which means you're going to be able to better execute. So I think if you really want to create a certain level of impact, certain level of momentum in 2022, you're going to have to do the following. And so this model, what I'm going to tell you here, is pretty simple. In order to generate momentum, you need to start with potential. If you fully leverage your potential, the things that you can do and are maybe not yet doing, but you know that you're able to do, it can be incredibly powerful. The higher or the more that you really leverage your potential, that's going to lead to you taking higher levels of action, actually putting in the work, doing what needs to be done. When you do more, when you actually take action to the level that you need to, it's going to lead to higher results. And ultimately, that's what you're looking for. The more results that you get, the more confidence that you have in yourself, and that leads to you making more of an impact. So it's a cycle, really. Again, starts with potential, goes to action, then to results, building that confidence, and ultimately having that impact. The cycle is pretty powerful, and it does lead to some fantastic results overall because it, again, creates this flywheel where things keep getting better. With the people that I coach, lead, mentor, I consistently am trying to push people to leverage their full potential. I believe that everyone, whether they see it or not, can do more. And even when I challenge people to say, hey, you can do more, they might look at me like there's nothing more to give. I don't have any more capacity. And like, they do have capacity. They just don't see it in themselves. You got to try and experiment, push people to grow, and ultimately help them along the way with achieving the results that they want. And the impact becomes so amazing when you watch and you see that. But again, critical to really making the impact and getting what you want is that you got to fully leverage your potential. You might not recognize it, but ultimately you are capable of so much, even more than you often think. The more you go all in on yourself and you leverage your potential, the greater the level of action that you're going to take. It leads to phenomenal results. Those results, or wins as I usually like to call them, they stack up. The more you win, the more confident you become. If you really think about it, those people who are most confident that are kind of in your inner circle or in your life or people that you maybe work with, they're usually that way because they have a track record of winning. So when you continue to succeed at whatever you do, you eventually become that game changer and you make even a bigger impact. It's all important that you just have to make sure that you go all in on yourself, find a way to generate momentum, and make that impact on the world. But you got to remember that you are capable of so much more than you ultimately realize. You have so much potential, but when you fully embrace that and maximize that, invest in yourself, try to become a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday, you can unlock untold potential. You're able to get so much more accomplished in less time if you focus on making yourself the best version you possibly can be. When you do that, whether it's your personal, professional development, courses, books, podcasts, videos, whatever it is, you are going to see your results start to change for the better. And again, the more results you get because of the more action that you've taken and leveraging your potential, the more confident you become. When you are confident, that just kicks in that superhero mode where you want to do more and more of it, and then your impact is felt by more people. If you want to create momentum and make an impact, remember, it starts with potential.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Chris Hanna Show. As always, the latest episodes are available to listen and subscribe to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow The Chris Hanna Show on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Twitter. For more resources and solutions, including blog posts, toolkits, ebooks, speaking sessions, and more, visit chrishanna.ca today. We look forward to connecting again with you soon for another episode of The Chris Hanna Show.